Now been 10 years since the tragedy struck the Oklahoma State basketball team.
Tonight, we're making good on a promise to our viewers and to ourselves that we would always remember the 10. In a snowy Colorado field on the 27th of January, we lost 10 men.
10 have died in the plane crash carrying part of the OSU basketball team.
Never making it home from a basketball game in Boulder. As the hours passed, we learned their names.
Oklahoma State student athletes, Dan Lawson and Nate Fleming.
You are the source of my strength.
In the days that followed, we missed their presence.
Bill, he was the most humble sportscaster that I've ever known.
10 years later, we cherish their memory. Today and always, we will remember.
10 years ago tonight, the Cowboy Nation was grieving, but one man had to put his heartbreak on hold and tend to his basketball family. Kelly Ogle has more of Eddie Sutton's memories from that night.
For the 10 men on that doomed flight, Coach Eddie Sutton was more than just a basketball coach or a basketball legend, as a lot of people think of him. He was a father figure to the younger men on board and a good friend to the older guys. So when news came that the third flight had not made it back from Colorado, it was devastating.
Well, I think the most emotional time was when I first heard about the loss of those 10 guys. You know, I can remember I had to go off in a room by myself when we first got back for a few minutes just to try to regain my composure and wipe the tears from my eyes.
And it fell to him that night to break the news to many of the families.
One of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life was to call some of the parents and to call some of the wives and tell them what had happened.
Some of those who know him best believe Coach Sutton never really recovered from that night. He suddenly aged, and 6 years later, he crashed his car while under the influence of alcohol and medication.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I think that it possibly could have been a factor, but I think that the disease that I have, that you can use an excuse to go get a drink anytime, I guess, if you are an alcoholic.
Even now, he shoulders the burden, knowing some still blame him for their loved ones' deaths, and he understands.
I don't have guilt because, like I said, I'm a realist in that I know that anytime you get in an automobile and start across a highway, there's a chance that there's more accidents, more people get killed in those automobiles than they do in airplanes. I don't have the guilt, but I certainly have the sadness of losing those people.